Well, I guess it's time for another rant. So hey guys, and welcome to another discussion slash rant video, and today I will be discussing about how Nintendo is horrible with re-releases. And I'm not sure if this is because of the leadership of Nintendo with Furukawa and everything like that with the Switch, but it seems like they really aren't doing too well with these re-releases on the Nintendo Switch. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, they're only porting NES and SNES games as like a virtual console like service. It's not, well, I mean, it's not like the virtual console, but I mean the concept is kind of similar for having old games on a system. Like, don't get me wrong, I love SNES and NES games, SNES especially, because Super Mario World is one of my favorite games of all time. And, like, the thing about those are, like, I mean, they're on all systems, but they shouldn't be the only ones on there. There should also be Nintendo 64, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, or even DS or Wii on there, kind of like how the Wii U had. But they're always kind of like skipping the GameCube and everything like that. So I'd really like to see GameCube re-releases like on a newer Nintendo console. Because the thing about GameCube games, they're really expensive since they haven't been re-released on any other system before. Not even the Wii U, since the Wii U had DS and Wii games on the Virtual Console, but for some weird reason they skipped the GameCube. I don't know why, it's really weird, but I just want to see GameCube games re-released. Like, there's a ton of amazing games on the GameCube, especially Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and not a lot of people have played it, because I did a poll recently, and 80% of people who, like, voted on that poll didn't play it at all. And another thing, there's also the older Mario Party games that have never been re-released. Mario Power Tennis was on the Wii, but that's not a modern console anymore, so they're not really selling it anymore. And, like, all the Mario sports games, Mario Strikers, and there's a ton of other games. And even the more obscure games, like, I guess, like, Doshin the Giant, which wasn't even re-released, or released at all in North America. But it seems like GameCube games are kind of forgotten about, which is too bad, because they're some of the best Nintendo games of all time. And the only one they really re-release, or they've re-released so far, is like Super Mario Sunshine. That was once, for a limited amount of time, and we'll get into the limited time thing later. They have remade GameCube games, but that's not really the same as re-releasing them, because, I mean, the GameCube, or the remake of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were both amazing in my opinion, and I feel like they're better than the originals, but I would like to see more, like, re-releases or remakes of GameCube games, because I think more people should be able to play them, but unfortunately, they aren't. And also, the Wii and Wii U had the Virtual Console, but for some reason, because of money, I guess, the Switch didn't. And I don't know what it is, but I don't think Nintendo thinks legacy content is important. Because, like, a lot of people end up, like, emulating games and pirating games because of it. If Nintendo just gave an option for people to do this, they wouldn't be emulating the games. Like, if they ported, like, most of their, like, first-party titles over the years, most people would probably buy it or pick it up on the Nintendo Switch. I don't really know, like, I feel like they're almost losing out on money, and it might just be like their, like, probably their view on legacy content. They think, oh, people are gonna buy new games because they're graphically superior, so they're not many people are gonna pick up the older games. But there is a big market for retro games and older games, because a lot of people feel nostalgic about older consoles and older games, and they would like to replay them. So that would, like, I feel like Nintendo is kind of, like, not, I feel like they're kind of missing that opportunity, and especially because the Switch is really successful, and a lot of people would probably buy these older games. So it doesn't really make sense. And next up, Wii U ports. Well, I mean, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is, like, the only Wii U port that I'm actually really excited for, because they're doing something good with this port. They're adding, like, a full new game into it. Well, I mean, it's not, like, a entire game, but, like, with Bowser's Fury, I feel like that's enough to justify buying it twice if you had a Wii U. And they already had Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch, so that's not really replacing a sequel at all, since Super Mario Odyssey, which is the sequel to 3D World, is already on there. It's more just, like, giving more people an opportunity to play 3D World. But on the other hand, most other Wii U ports seem to be replacing their actual sequels, especially Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't have a problem with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but we need a new Mario Kart. And I feel like Nintendo's just relying that port at, like, sometimes, and, like, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I mean, that's great that we got Pikmin 3 on the Nintendo Switch, so more people have a chance to play it. But a lot of people wanted Pikmin 4. And they're also, like, overpriced, since a lot of them were $20 with the Nintendo Selects, but then Nintendo charges $60 for them. Even with the added content, it's not worth $60. And even for the aspect of portability, they're still not worth $60. Because they've been out for 5 to 8 years now, and, like, basically, the only upgrade you get for them is maybe slightly better graphics and the ability to play them on the go. Most Wii U ports don't really add extra content to them, especially New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which New Super Mario Bros. U was $20 on the Wii U because of the Nintendo Selects and everything, and even the $20 version included New Super Luigi U. And on the Nintendo Switch, it was $60, full price, and all they added was Toadette, which was an easy mode, which most people wouldn't play because most people are probably going to play the normal mode. It doesn't make sense. And Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is even worse. I'm not sure if it's a Nintendo Select or not, but it started out as a $50 game when it originally released. But, like, all they added on the Nintendo Switch version was Funky Kong. I mean, Funky Kong's amazing, but, like, he's the easy mode, which is kind of like, another thing that people wouldn't really use, because most people are probably going to play the normal mode. And then they charge $60 for that on the Nintendo Switch, which isn't good. And finally, probably one of the worst things out of all of these is the limited time re-releases. So, Super Mario 3D All-Stars will only be available now for a little over a month. So, like, this is the last chance to buy, like, these classic Mario games, to be able to play them on the Nintendo Switch. Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario 64 and Galaxy were always available on the Wii U. But now, they're just gonna be gone in a couple months, so people won't be able to pick them up. Let's say if someone's saving up for a Switch and they won't be able to buy one until April, then they won't have a chance to get these games. And another thing with the Fire Emblem translation, this one, like, really doesn't make sense either, because they put the time and effort into the translations of the original Fire Emblem game, and it will be gone. Like, you won't be able to buy it after March 31st. I mean, with a physical release of stuff like Super Mario 3D All-Stars, that kind of makes sense. But if it's if the digital one is going away, that doesn't really make sense at all. Like, why would you limit a digital release? Like, this is a problem that other companies are probably going to start doing. Especially companies like EA or maybe even Activision, or probably one of those companies. But I feel like Nintendo started a bad trend. Like, once they showed that the Fire Emblem one will be until March 31st, then I started thinking that this is probably a trend. And I really hope they don't do this with more re-releases. If they do like a Paper Mario 3D or Paper Mario All-Stars or something like that, I mean, that would be amazing. that's probably one of my most wanted re-releases. But that still wouldn't be good if they, like, re-release that and then only have it available for a few months. So, I feel like Nintendo has a big problem with their re-releases on the Nintendo Switch. And so far, the Nintendo Switch is probably the worst console for re-releases so far after the Wii. And I mean, Nintendo Switch, that's my favorite Nintendo console for multiple reasons, but it's my least favorite in terms of re-releases. I'd have to say either the Wii U or the Wii is my favorite with, like, game re-releases and stuff like that. And I feel like the Nintendo Switch is severely lacking behind in that aspect. And I really hope they fix this in the future with actually having more options to play the games. Like, they haven't even added a Nintendo 64 Online. And I feel like GameCube games and GameCube re-releases are far overdue, because GameCube games are overpriced, and I don't know when they are gonna re-release them. And, yeah, so basically, Nintendo's kind of horrible with re-releases right now, and I really hope that they fix this problem and they do better with it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. What are your opinions on Nintendo's re-releases and everything regarding that? And thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to check out my Discord server or Twitter if you want to. Goodbye!